We have emotions and we care about each other. Like the only people that it wouldn't hurt are people who are sort of like narcissistic or like sociopaths.
Yeah, at this point.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would absolutely love it if you are new here, if you would just consider helping me to drum up engagement on this channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to the videos. I am less than 300 subscribers away from 2,000 subscribers, so I would love to reach that goal by the end of September. If you're not sure, I've been recapping this entire Big Brother season, as well as a couple of other shows that you can find on my page, so check it out, suss out the vibes, and maybe, just maybe, you will subscribe. Anyway, today we are going to talk about day 50 in the Big Brother house. A day that was still somehow jam-packed with a lot, okay? We have the potential rise of the Women's Alliance, okay? We have some lying. We have some more delusion, okay? So I do think that a lot happened. It wasn't as long of a day, so we won't be here for super long. But, you know, with this crowd, they just keep going and going and going and going and going. So let's just jump on into it, okay? Let's jump on into it, okay? We started our day off with an Angela and Leah chat.
Decor that, I promise you.
And it's like, I'm not allowed to have my person that's loyal to me.
It's so funny that we felt the same way.
Like, that's ridiculous. And like, it's just like, it's always hard, and like, I was the first person.
Okay, as you know, Angela and Leah, they've been getting very, very close to one another. So Leah, once again, is discussing how she feels very good about the decision to save Angela. All week, Leah has said, look, me using the veto is basically a power move for me as a woman. You know, it's a power move. I had to do what I believe in. You know, Leah keeps citing her reasoning for saving Angela is that jury vote, which, as you know, I think is kind of a terrible reason. But nonetheless, you know, that is Leah. She feels firm in her decision, and she's been mentally convincing herself. You know, she says, look, why does everyone else get to have their person and I can't have mine? Everybody else gets to have their person that they want to save, but when I do it, it's a big problem. Now, Leah does once again cite that, hey, the house hasn't even been with me in the first place. So why would I continue to save them and do the things they want to do rather than doing what I want to do? Overall, Leah says, look, y'all got rid of my true numbers, my true allies. So why would I do things for you? So again, solid in her decision. Joseph and MJ also talk yet again. And Joseph straight up is like, where are you at with me?
Oh, you and I are good.
Okay, cool.
I'm not worried about it. I didn't even think you'd go up. I didn't know. I was terrified I'd go up.
Oh, really?
Just because I've been in the AI arena so many times and I've won, and so I was like, maybe he'd just put me up to, like, hopefully.
Like, you know, where are we at? How are things? MJ says, I'm good with you. I like you. Like, I don't have a problem with you. You know, you're not the target this week. You shouldn't really be worried about going home. You know, I'm good with you. And everybody's trying to really get Joseph calmed down. And again, with this house, we don't know for sure who's the target, who's not the target. People say one thing, days later, they change their mind. But yesterday, a lot of people tried to get Joseph to kind of simmer down and feel like he's not the target. Now, Joseph does tell MJ, look, I want to work with you in the game. You know, I know you're a God-fearing woman, and because of that, you wouldn't do anything shady, so I trust you. And these two babble on back and forth about varying things, but, you know, they kind of, they don't solidify something, but Joseph does put the feelers out there. Now, Kimo and Quinn, they discuss how, you know, Quinn doesn't really know where everyone's head is at right now.
I'm a bit scared.
We'll get you the votes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
He says, look, I haven't had any talks with anyone right now. Kimo, says he hasn't really had talks with anyone, and yet it's like, yeah, we know, Kimo. You've been self-isolating in the room by yourself when you're on the block. what is up with this house? Just, I feel like some people go really hard campaigning, and for what it's worth, I think people give Angela a lot of flack because she campaigns and she goes and asks people, but it's like she's campaigning. Even Joseph is out there trying to campaign. And I feel like Kimo has just completely laid down and decided he's not going to try. Like, what are we doing, Kimo? I know you're on softball. What are we doing? So Quinn is trying to tell him, look, you already have multiple votes, maybe T-Core, Chelsea, potentially Cam. But it's like, all of this is a lie. Like, all of this is a lie. Obviously, the target seemingly is Kimo or Joseph. I think those two are more of the targets for people. Some people want Kimo out. Some people want Joseph out. So yeah, I don't know. Now, yesterday they lounged around quite a bit. They played some games. They played Mafia. They played some like, I'm on an island and I'm picking and I'm bringing 3 things. What is it? And you have to guess what the things are. They did that for a very long time. They had a nice little family dinner like they always do. And poor Kimo was on slop, laying on the floor looking like he was having a horrible time. Now, we have one of Chelsea's shizmies, her camera talks. So let's get into it.
Yo tail up on that block. So that's just an observation. I didn't predict it. It's just observation of just like, never get too comfortable in this place. Because things...
Chelsea? Ecstatic that Joseph is on the block, okay? Said, you stormed around the house doing this, telling people that they was going home, that they was in danger, and look at you. And as I said, ooh, karma, I love that. Never get too comfortable in this house. Agreed. I think some people have definitely gotten comfortable, Joseph being one of them. Now, she predicts that Joseph will win the AI arena. All right, Chelsea. You got a lot of faith in this man. She says Tucker and Rubina back to back. Ooh, Chelsea is loving Tucker and Rubina being on the block back to back, potentially leaving back to back. She loves it. Now she says, I've been putting throwing Cam a bone at this point. He will win HOH and shake things up. Now, keep it in mind because later on today, Chelsea got her a little crush, okay? The way she's talking about Cam. Now, Quinn says, look, I want to form the 5-person alliance today, basically. He told this to Chelsea earlier, and he said, look, we can include T-Core, and he's telling all of this to Leah. Quinn's intention was to get everybody up to the HOH and form the alliance. It didn't happen, but that was his plan. So Angela and Rubina, they catch up, and Angela is once again recapping the conversation she had with Joseph.
Like imminent danger or whatever. And he's like, I'm not going to go talk to him. Oh, he told me about this. He's told me about that. That he was like, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? Why would I stick my neck out? Blah, 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 blah. He's part of the reason.
She feels that Joseph pushed Quinn to put her up in the first place, Angela. Now he says, she's talking about again how he said, look, I'm surprised you're still here. She was saying he was laughing while saying it. Angela is definitely still salty about the conversation, definitely has a bad taste in her mouth about Joseph. And it does kind of lay down the question, would Angela vote Joseph out, Because right now I think Joseph, it feels like we're good. Me and Angela are great. I got her. But I think in reality, it's clear that Angela still has feelings about whatever he said. Now, Angela says Joseph is one of the smartest people in the house. She recognizes that. And Rubina starts to go into how MJ was told by Joseph that if she makes it to the end, he beats her. So they just are basically recapping all of the really nasty things that Joseph has been saying, all of the kind of arrogant things he had said. And it's like, well, you're on the block now. So that was just kind of that. And they talk a lot about the women winning at the end. And again, this girls' alliance, the women winning. There's been so many women yesterday in particular that really talked about this.
It's left where we can, it's the same thing as why women should be CEOs. It's like, oh, we're too emotional. Guess what's an emotion? Anger. But you guys are allowed to express it, and that's seen as a strength. But we can't express empathy or...
Rubina starts to go into like, look, why are the men allowed to play with their emotions, okay? And their emotion is anger. So why are we women not allowed to be empathetic, caring, loving? How come they call us too emotional, but they can have an emotion and it's just anger? Chelsea and Angela have this conversation.
And Mackenzie won 3 comps and I won 2. Yeah, way outweigh the boys.
And Leah.
And Leah. Oh, we're killing it.
And we already have numbers.
Oh.
Where, an all-girls final 2 would be iconic. That's never happened before. Oh my God, that's so new. That's so rare. Imagine what it would be like if we had an all-girls final 6. So much talk about the women's alliance, women winning at the end. Obviously, T-Core has been throwing it out too. So again, it's like, will this women's alliance come to fruition? Because so many different groups of women are talking about it in the house. So where is the alliance? So Chelsea and Quinn have a pretty long conversation. Chelsea asks what he's thinking.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what are you thinking?
Pretty much I'm just asking not Joseph. I feel
Really?
Yeah, I feel pretty
About everything. And he's, asking not just, and he's asking anyone but Joseph. He basically says, I don't care who it is, anyone but Joseph, because I feel shitty about putting him up. Now, Chelsea says, look, I don't have a preference of the order of getting out Rubina or Kimo first. I just don't want to be on the other side of the vote. She does say that Cam, Leah, and MJ all want Joseph to stay. So it is between Kimo and Rubina and who they decide that they all want first. Now, Chelsea asks Quinn, who is the most threatening between the two of you, between those two, Rubina and Kimo, for you? And Quinn says, look, Kimo will definitely take it more personally that he was put up. He's not going to forget it. He's going to hold a grudge. Whereas Rubina is a better player. So that is an opportunity to have someone to put up outside the 5 if we keep her around. Now, they talk about how Kimo wanted MJ up since they never talked game week 2. And they talk about how, Quinn was like, I asked him, have you talked game with her yet? And he said no. Now, they say overall, it made way more sense for Rubina to keep kind of the Tucker vote and everything secret, but not Kimo. They also point out how Kimo lied about having a final 2 with Tucker. Now, they say overall, it is not true that they were planning to include Quinn and Chelsea in that alliance that Tucker wanted to form. That Kimo had said that was the case, but they are realizing that's not true. Meanwhile, while they're all having this conversation, T-Core and Kimo and Rubina are all downstairs and they're like, oh my God, if everybody else goes up, that must mean that the alliance is forming. So what do? They go upstairs. First, T-Core and Rubina go up and then Kimo joins as well. And they all go up to the HOH room. And as that's happening, Quinn has this look on his face where he's like, are you all serious? Because he wanted to form the alliance right now. And obviously with everybody going up, it prevented that from happening. So Chelsea and T-Core have a pretty long conversation. This conversation starts off as a rant about Cam.
You hear that?
He only wants to talk to me when the lights are off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's freaking bad. I just sit on the room.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's annoying for me.
Yeah.
Cause
Chelsea is really hurting, about Cam and MJ flirting. Now, if you guys notice, I don't really talk a lot about this whole thing in my videos because I'm going to be honest, it just feels like a nothing burger. However, I'm going to mention it today because I do think this is actually starting to affect the way that Chelsea feels about both MJ and Cam. And I think it may even cause her to turn against them in the future. So Chelsea feels that basically Cam treats her like one of the bros while he treats the other women like a lady.
I'm reading all of that stuff.
What's the differences in that?
His reaction when Homegirl won veto was like, over the moon, happy. Got up, jumping, smiling.
He talks about when Homegirl won the veto, Cam was excited, jumping up for joy, so happy. But when she won, he was like, well, if it wasn't me, it was going to be you. Basically just a really, canned, casual response. Now, she says, look, he only jokes around and clowns around with me. He doesn't really ever, take it personal, be soft, be, not romantic necessarily, but have a soft side with her. She says, look, I hated Tucker game-wise, but I can't get over how soft and sensitive he was with Rubina, and Cam never gives that to me. Now, Chelsea also feels that Cam is trying to get all of the girls on his side, and she feels like at this point that she's one of Cam's new pets for him to just play around with, and, just I guess get attention from. Now T-Core says, look, it's like he and MJ are in a showmance, and obviously I don't think they're in a showmance, but it's also like y'all are cuddling every night, head scratching, cuddling under the blankets. Like, why is that happening? So, not looking so hot. Chelsea is definitely not feeling that. They do turn the conversation over to some game talk, and T-Core says, look, I want to take Kimo as far as I can, okay? Right now, my priority is my priority is obviously us two, but, over that, I want to take Kimo as well with us. So Chelsea does not know where the house stands with Joseph versus Kimo or Rubina. She thinks that if one of them comes off, it's automatically a vote for the other one versus Joseph, basically. So she thinks whoever's up is going to stay and Joseph will likely go home. Now, T-Core does think that Angela would vote to keep Kimo because Joseph was mean to her and obviously they have their beef. Chelsea is definitely not a fan of Joseph as a game player overall, but she says she's going to plant seeds tomorrow. She wants Rubina and Kimo to win, so overall they can get out Joseph. So Chelsea's target is still Joseph. And once again, the two of them talk about how a woman needs to win HOH next week and get out Quinn and Cam. So again, more talk of that woman's alliance. But yeah, needless to say, Chelsea just said it. She wants to put up Cam because she's not happy about the showmance. Okay. And lastly, we end our night off with Joseph and Cam having a pretty long talk. So these two are they're not that happy with Leah. They spend a very long time downplaying Leah's game, talking about how terrible she is. Joseph says she's not a gamer. Last week my advice kept Leah off the block.
I wonder if the approach would have been being like, you're putting me in a deeply uncomfortable situation, please don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It makes no difference to think about it, but I'm like,
the reason why she wasn't there was because of me. Sir, you were in the tent doing a little something. You were not giving anybody advice last week. Joseph tells Quinn, look, I'm not throwing any more comps moving forward. Yeah, because that's why you're not winning, because you threw the comps. Now Quinn is discussing how, look, I talked to Leah until 3 a.m. about using the veto. I really thought I talked her down, but overall, I should have just maybe stayed up with her up until the ceremony. So we just went straight into the ceremony because clearly I thought I had convinced her not to use it. They do, wonder if she straight up knew, or Joseph, I should say, wonders if he straight up knew that he was going up. If Leah knew, that he was going to go on the block. Because he was like, well, maybe if Leah knew, she wouldn't have done that. Like, maybe I should have straight up told her that you were going to go up. So that way, she wouldn't have made that move. Now, Quinn decides to tell Joseph that he is completely safe this week. He says, look, I got everyone up in the HOH and confirmed that you are safe no matter what. Huh? I was like, wait, pause. I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He says there's no formal decision on who is leaving, but 100% certain that it will not be Joseph. Now, Joseph feels that Kimo or Rubina would not put him up, but Quinn says that Rubina also claims, hey, she's not coming after him. But of course, Quinn still doesn't believe that because he went after her boyfriend. And I don't know, Quinn seems to really have it in his head that Rubina is going to put him up at the first chance, whereas I don't know how true that is. But, Joseph says overall, like, look, I think Rubina would work with you because who else would she go to? Is she going to go to MJ and Cam? Joseph says that Angela thinks that he will go after Quinn, and they are also talking about how Angela's rubbing it in Joseph's face this week, that she came off the block. They're like, I don't want to say it, but it just kind of feels like she's rubbing it in my face. And I'm like, you told her she was leaving. Angela has every right in the world to glow to your face because you were so arrogant, and now everybody else is supposed to feel bad for you, huh? Now, Joseph thinks it's asinine how obsessed Leah is with getting the jury vote from Angela. They once again discuss her decision to use the veto just for a jury vote. And this is probably the only thing in this conversation where I was like, I totally agree. I just don't know what Leah's fascination is with getting Angela's particular jury vote. It just seems bizarre to me. But overall, Joseph says, look, we can use both of us kind of like having a thing with Leah to throw people off our scent, basically. Everybody knows that we both kind of have something with Leah. We're both kind of into it. So like, we don't have to say it directly, but we can kind of use it to make people think there's distance between us. Basically, if people think, oh, the two of us are fighting over Leah, they're going to not believe that we're working together. And that is kind of where we end the night off. So once again, lies, delusion, deceptions, talks of alliances, and yet we are still in a spot where it is not 100% clear what's going to happen. And for what it's worth, I love the AI arena. I like the AI arena a lot. I love how it adds an extra layer. I love how things are not predictable. That's one of the biggest things that happened, let's say last season with Big Brother, is that every single eviction was predictable. I like that things are not predictable because we have the arena. So anyway, we will see. We will see what happens. If you made it to this point of the video, though, that means you like the video. So I would love it if you would help me to drum up engagement on the videos by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Share the videos with people in your life who also like Big Brother. Also, please make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have the bell on so you know when I drop these recaps daily. And make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube's on this funny stuff. I would love this. Like I said, I am less than 300 subscribers away from 2,000, and I would love to make it to 2,000 by the end of this month. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.